Henry, please, she whispered, voice thin. Do not do this. He smirked near the bar, tipping his hat toward a painted woman. I am done with you, he said, loud so every ear caught it. You are worthless and unwanted. Laughter echoed off wood walls. Her breath caught. Henry, she tried again. We can talk. The pitcher slipped from her fingers and shattered. Boots scraped. Get her out, someone shouted. Rough hands shoved her toward the street. Lantern light flickered as she stumbled outside. Look at her cry, a woman hissed. Pitiful. Her chest hollowed. Henry, she called. Tell them to stop. He strode out, arm around the other woman. Why should I? He said. You have nothing I want. She folded onto the dusty road. Please, she whispered. Where am I supposed to go? He shrugged. Not my problem. The quiet cowboy leaned against the railing, hat shadowing his eyes. He did not speak, only watched. Someone kicked her skirt. Move along. She rose, shaking. Tears streaked her cheeks. Henry, she begged once more. You took my home. He smiled. Sold it already. Her breath froze. My savings. He turned away. Gone. She staggered down the street, lanterns blurring. What did I do wrong? She muttered. Wind lifted dust around her. The cowboy stepped from the shadows. Ma'am, he said softly. She didn't hear, walking past. He tipped his hat. She reached the general store. Mr. Carter, she pleaded. Can you help me? He shook his head. Henry told me you were trouble. Her knees wobbled. Please, just a room. He shut the door. She leaned against the wall, sliding down. I have nowhere. A deputy passed. Keep moving. She whispered. I have nothing left. He snorted. Then leave town. A boy selling papers paused. Miss, you okay? She forced a smile. Go home, child. He ran off. Henry's voice echoed from the saloon porch. Good riddance. More laughter. Her hands balled in her skirt. Why does no one care? She whispered. The cowboy's boots approached. Ma'am, he said again. She lifted her head finally. Why do you care? He shrugged. No one should be cast aside like trash. She looked away. I am trash. He shook his head. Not to everyone. She wiped her face. He took my life. He offered a handkerchief, then billed another. She stared. How? Where would I go? He nodded toward open land. Somewhere the town can't reach. She rose unsteady. Why would you help me? Someone once helped me, he said. I return the favor. Tears trembled again. I don't deserve it. Maybe, he answered. But you still need it. She sniffed. I don't even know your name. Cole, he said. Yours? Sarah. He tipped his hat. Sarah, you need shelter. She shook her head. I don't trust anyone. He stepped back. I'm not asking trust. Just letting you know you're seen. She watched him walk away. Seen, she murmured. By whom? Wind rattled signs. Town voices faded. She walked down the road again. He took everything, she whispered. Everything. Cole watched her from the shadows. It might not be over, he said under his breath. She disappeared into darkness, unaware change waited behind that quiet cowboy. Night deepened. She sank beside the livery, hugging her knees. Henry was right, she said softly. I am nothing. A drunk stumbled past. Cry somewhere else, he muttered. She curled tighter. The stars looked distant, cold. Cole's horse snorted nearby. He approached slowly. You should not sleep here. She stared at the ground. Where else? There's a shed near the church, he said. Cleaner than dust. She hesitated. Why bother? Because everyone deserves a door, he said. She shook her head. Henry said doors close to me. Cole opened his coat and held out a worn blanket. Take it. She pulled away. You do not owe me. I know, he answered. But you're freezing. Her fingers reached slowly, grabbing the edge. Thank you, she whispered. Do not thank me, he replied. Just survive. She watched him mount his horse. Cole. He paused. Why did Henry hate me? Some men break others to feel strong, he answered. She swallowed. Then he won. Not yet, Cole said. He turned his horse and rode into darkness. She lay under the blanket, lantern glow flickering from windows across town. Henry walked away smiling, she murmured. I walked away shattered. She closed her eyes, but sleep refused her. Near dawn, shop doors creaked. A woman's sweeping glared. Get up, she barked. Sarah rose slowly. Ma'am, I will move. Good, the woman snapped. We don't need your kind here. Sarah walked toward the empty road. What is my kind? She whispered. Cole watched from a distance as she trudged away, blanket clutched tight. At the outskirts, she looked back at town. Let them laugh, she said, voice faint. One day the laugh will die. A rooster crowed. She took another step, unaware Cole's gaze remained steady behind her, seeing not ruin but someone still standing. Dust swirled around her boots. She breathed the dry morning air. I am still here, she whispered. Cole turned his horse toward his ranch. She will rise, he murmured. She did not hear him, but some part of her felt the weight shift, a quiet promise in the wind. Change had begun today. Crates. Please stop, she whispered to the sky, but thunder rolled instead. Dawn crept slowly, and she rose stiffly, brushing mud from her skirt. Her stomach growled. I just need one chance, she murmured. The sheriff walked by, adjusting his badge. You again, he grunted. She forced herself to stand straighter. Sheriff, could you spare?
No, he snapped.
You're bad luck around here. His boots splashed through puddles as if her pain was dirt. She wrapped her arms around her ribs. Bad luck, she repeated. A shopkeeper unlocked his door. Sir, she called, may I sweep floors for food? He shut the door in her face. Find someone else. Another merchant waved her away. Your husband warned us. She lowered her head. He warned you about me, but not about himself. Dust clung to her wet hem as she walked past the saloon. Henry stood on the porch laughing with men. She turned quickly, hoping he didn't see her. Please, just let me disappear, she whispered. Boot steps sounded behind her. She didn't look until she sensed someone stop at her side. Cole held a blanket. Take this, he said. She shook her head. I do not want tricks.
He didn't argue.
He simply draped the blanket on a crate nearby and walked off. She stared after him. Why would he give something without asking anything? Hours passed. Wind cooled, and she shivered, finally pulling the blanket over her shoulders. Its warmth surprised her. Maybe he is a fool, she murmured. A young ranch hand approached, straw hat low over his eyes. Ma'am? She flinched. I don't want trouble. No trouble, he said softly. Just letting you know, that blanket came from Cole. She blinked. Cole. He lives quiet, the boy said.
Honest.
He don't speak unless needed. She wrapped the blanket tighter. I don't deserve kindness. Maybe nobody does, he shrugged. But he gives it anyway. She watched him go, unsure whether to believe. By noon, she tried again. Sir, please, I can sew, she told a tailor. No, he said, locking his gate. Behind the livery, she whispered. Am I invisible? A little girl tugged her mother's skirt. Mama, that lady looks sad. The woman pulled the child close. Stay away. Some people bring ruin. Those words pierced deeper than rain. She crouched against the wall, eyes closing. Footsteps halted. Ma'am, Ethan, the ranch hand, said again. You should eat. She shook her head. Food should go to someone who matters. He sighed. Cole won't see it that way. Why would he care? She asked. Ethan kicked dust. He knows what being alone feels like. She studied him. Who is he to you? My boss, Ethan answered. But more decent than blood. The afternoon dragged. She wandered to the edge of town, legs weak. Clouds thickened. I cannot stay here, she whispered. I cannot go either. Her vision blurred. Knees buckled. She fell, dirt brushing her cheek. Not like this, she said faintly. Hoofbeats approached. She tried to lift her head, but darkness tugged. A shadow dismounted. Cole knelt beside her. Sarah, he said, voice steady. You do not belong in the dirt. She blinked at him. It keeps me. No, he replied, lifting her gently. You choose whether it keeps you. Her breath hitched. Why come back? He placed her on his horse. Because I saw you fall. She looked at his profile, calm, unreadable. What do you really want? Nothing, he answered. But you need help. She swallowed. I don't want pity. This isn't pity, he said. It's direction. He mounted behind her and guided the horse slowly. The town watched, murmuring, whispering. Look who she caught, someone sneered. Cole ignored them. She lowered her head. They think I trap you. He glanced briefly. Let them think. They rode past the sheriff. Cole, the sheriff called. That woman brings trouble. Cold and slow. So do storms, he replied. But they pass. She stared at him with weary awe. How do you speak so little but cut deep? He didn't answer. Outside town, wind rustled grass. He stopped near a windmill. You collapsed, he said. You need shelter. I don't want your ranch, she whispered. I didn't offer the ranch, he said. Just safe ground. She slid off the horse unsteadily. I cannot pay you. Not asking, he replied. Tears pressed behind her eyes. Why am I worth helping? He looked toward the horizon. Maybe worth is not something people hand you. Maybe you uncover it walking forward. She wrapped the blanket around her shoulders again. I don't know how. You will, he said. I've seen worse start smaller. Silence settled between them, warm and heavy. What now? She asked quietly. He motioned toward a distant barn light. Walk.
Breathe.
Rest. She stared at the faint glow. And after? When you stand again, he said, we'll speak of work. Her heart stumbled. Work. Yes, he nodded. That is how you rise. She looked back toward town. They hate me. In time, he said, their eyes may change. And if they don't, then you don't live for them, he answered. She breathed deeply. The sky felt wider here. Cole mounted again. I'll ride alongside. You don't fall twice today. Her lip trembled. Thank you. He nodded. Move your feet. Worth grows in walking. She took her first step, weak but forward. Behind them, voices faded. Ahead, night waited uncertain but open. She whispered to herself, maybe dirt is not where I end. Cole heard and spoke softly. No, dirt is where roots begin. And she walked, unaware her life had already begun to change. She woke to the gentle creak of a bunkhouse cot and the faint smell of lantern oil. Morning light slipped through thin curtains and brushed dust floating in the air. Hay rustled outside, and the distant sound of boots striking earth reminded her she was not back in her old life. She turned her face toward the unfamiliar wooden beams above her. Cole's voice came from the doorway. Up and ready? Breakfast waits in the kitchen. She pushed herself upright. Yes, sir. No, sir. Just Cole, he said, stepping aside so she could follow. The kitchen was simple, tin plates, blackened pans, and coffee steaming on the stove. Ranch hands murmured as she sat at the corner. She lowered her gaze, waiting for someone to snatch her plate.
Cole noticed. Eat.
No one here fights for rations. She nodded and began slowly. Luke, the young ranch boy, offered a shy smile across the table. You're new, he whispered. Yes. I'm Luke. I look after the chickens. Want help learning? A small breath escaped her chest. I'd like that. Cole placed a brush and saddle soap on the table. After breakfast, tack needs cleaning.
Take your time.
Learn steady. She studied the brush like a test she could fail. The men exchanged glances. One muttered, Cole sure brings in strays. She flinched, but Cole spoke without turning his head. Every soul finds purpose here if given room. Luke tugged her sleeve. They're not bad. Just slow to trust. Outside, sunlight spread over fences and cattle. She kneaded saddle leather with careful strokes. Her hands trembled at first. Cole passed by, observing. Good pressure. Leather listens if treated fair. She whispered, Thank you. As days settled, she swept barn aisles, scrubbed pots, and helped Luke scatter feed. Dust coated her boots and jeans. Her shoulders straightened while working, each task forming rhythm she never owned before. Luke watched her fill the trough. You look less scared now. She paused. Working feels safe. Then keep doing it, he grinned. The bunkhouse smelled of pine soap and starch. She folded blankets with precision, grateful no one yelled. Yet whispers reached her ears when Riders returned from town. Folks say she's that thrown-out wife. Shame got sent here. She stared at the floor, breath tight.
Cole entered, jaw stiff.
Town mouths love poison. Hold yourself firm. She forced a nod. Yes. They don't know truth, he added softly. But you do. That night, chores stretched late. When she finished, she slipped into the barn, burying her face against her palms. Tears slid over her fingers. Cole's boots approached. You hiding from ghosts? She tried to steady her voice. People talk. I don't know how to stand tall. Standing tall ain't pretending you're not hurt, he answered. It's choosing not to break because of it. She looked up. I feel small. That's where strength grows, he replied. Small seed, big tree. She almost smiled. Later, Luke came carrying a pitchfork too big for him. Cole says you're crying. She stiffened. Just tired. He leaned the tool against a beam. You shouldn't cry alone. His words shook her, and she whispered, Thank you. Days turned into routine. She cooked stew, counted eggs, wiped tables, and listened to wind push dust across the yard. For the first time, someone expected her to finish tasks, not beg mercy. But change stirred when a wagon rolled toward the ranch. Dust trailed behind it. A bitter-eyed ranch woman stepped down, arms crossed. Cole met her at the gate. You weren't invited, Viola. Viola scoffed. Heard you took in trash. Thought I'd see her. She shrank back, hidden near the water barrels. Viola spotted her anyway. Well, ain't you pitiful? Ran off or got thrown out. Cole's voice hardened. Leave her be.
Why?
Truth wrinkles soft skin. Viola sneered. She'll bring shame. You always pick strays, Cole. The men stirred restlessly. Luke moved beside her. Don't listen. Viola shifted closer. You think new chores erase old stains? You'll always be talked about. Her lip trembled. Cole stepped forward. This ranch gives new starts. You don't belong here, Viola. She spat at the dirt. She'll fail. Cole motioned to the ranch hands. Escort her wagon. Viola smirked before leaving. Watch her break. When the dust settled, silence hung. She wiped her eyes with her sleeve. Cole approached slowly. You good? She shook her head. I thought I could hide. You work among honest folk. Bullies smell fear. Stand anyway. Her voice quivered.
How?
Show them the woman you'll become, not the one they whisper about. Luke tugged her hand. And I'll help, he declared. She breathed in hay and sunlight. I will try. Not just try, Cole corrected. Do. That evening, dinner simmered. She served plates without flinching. A hand grumbled. Food's better since she came. She blinked, surprised. Cole nudged her shoulder lightly. You belong where people see worth. Outside, stars printed the sky. Lantern light flickered through bunkhouse windows. Luke whispered through the hallway. Tomorrow I'll show you how to hold chicks without scaring them. She nodded.
Yes, I'd like that.
Cole stood by the porch rail, arms folded. Winds shifting, he remarked. She gazed at the horizon. So am I. It'll hurt sometimes, he warned. I know. But you're learning purpose, he said. And that's no small thing. She gathered her blanket and stepped into her bunk. For the first time, she lay down without fear someone would yank the pillow away. Her fingers pressed the mattress, claiming her space. Outside, coyotes called, and she listened with calmness. Her heart steadied. Work had given her meaning. People had given her room. Tears dried on her skin, but something else replaced them. Resolve. She whispered one last thought, though no one heard. I will not break. Cole lingered outside her door, hearing her breathing settle. She's starting, he murmured, then walked into the night, ready for dawn. Sunlight flattened the street, and women gathered nearby with folded arms and sharp stares. She kept her eyes lowered, careful not to disturb their circle. One spoke first. Well, look what crawled back into town. Another laughed. Heard she couldn't keep a husband fed or a bed warm. Whispers tightened around her spine. She gripped her bucket. A woman stepped forward. Got anything to say for yourself? She swallowed.
No, ma'am.
Just collecting water. Course you are, another sneered. Someone's got to do the low jobs. Laughter rippled. A spit landed near her boot. Her breath froze. She did not lift her head. Across the street, Cole stood beside his saddle horse, jaw clenched. He did not move yet. A woman brushed past her shoulder. Pitiful thing. Surprised Cole keeps you. Another chimed in. Maybe he likes broken toys. Her hand trembled as she lifted her bucket. I don't aim to trouble anyone. Oh, honey, a voice mocked. Your existence is trouble. Her chest cracked. She felt that old familiar collapse tugging. She glanced at Cole. He made no gesture, only watched. More voices hit her like stones. You got thrown away. No wonder he found someone better. You were never enough. Her eyes burned. Something shifted inside, not anger but survival. She lifted her face, voice a whisper. I still breathe, so I still matter. The crowd paused. A woman stepped closer. What did you say? Her fingers tightened on the bucket. I still matter. Silence spread. Cole nodded faintly from across the street. The women scoffed. Delusional. Yet they moved aside, letting her walk. Each step wobbled, but she did not fall. Cole approached slowly once she reached the boardwalk. Good words, he said. They laughed, she muttered. They didn't make you disappear. His gaze softened. That's winning. At supper, she sat quietly among clattering dishes. Cole ladled stew without speaking. When he set a warm loaf of cornbread beside her cup, their eyes met briefly. She whispered, Thank you. No thanks needed, he said, turning away. Luke leaned across the table. You okay? Her mouth wavered. I will be. You were brave, he assured. Later, lantern shadows flickered against bunkhouse walls. She lay awake, replaying the scene. Strength felt new, fragile yet real. The next afternoon a knock sounded on the ranch door. A preacher in worn boots stood there, hat in hand. Cole called her over. This is Reverend Peters. She wiped her hands. Good afternoon, sir. His eyes were kind. I hear you know discipline and patience. Church school needs hands with children. Would you want the work? Her heart fluttered. Could I truly help? Every soul is called to something, he replied. Want to try? She nodded, voice trembling. Yes. I'll expect you Monday morning, he smiled, tipping his hat. After he left, Cole crossed his arms. Good offer. She looked down. I don't know if I deserve it. Worth ain't given, he said. It's proven. She exhaled softly. I'll try. Do more than try, he encouraged. Walk tall. Morning came early. Mist sat low across the fields. She brushed dust from her dress and stepped toward town. A little pride warmed her chest. But as she rounded the corner toward the church, her steps faltered. Her ex-husband stood outside the general store, laughing with the woman who had replaced her. Their fingers intertwined. He spotted her. Well, ain't this something? The woman beside him smirked. She hasn't crawled far. She froze. Her throat tightened. He walked closer, swagger in his stride. Guess ranch scraps are better than nothing, huh? The new woman added, Cole must pity you. Her shoulders curled inward. Wind stirred dust between them. He tilted his head. You look worn. Marriage didn't take too kindly to you. She steadied herself. Good day. He laughed. Oh, she speaks now. Her lip trembled, but she managed. I have work. Teaching, his partner scoffed. Lord help those children. Her vision blurred. The well of pain threatened again. She turned away. His voice followed. You never mattered. Her steps quickened. She did not look back. The preacher waited at the church door. You all right? She nodded weakly. Yes. You don't have to pretend, he said gently. She swallowed. People speak harshly sometimes. Then let us speak kindly, he replied, guiding her inside. The day moved in careful rhythm. Lessons, brooms, chalk, dust. Children's laughter soothed some ache. When she finished and walked home, the sun dipped low. Cole leaned against the corral post. How was it? He asked. Hard. And did you quit?
No.
Then you did fine, he said. Tears threatened. I saw him. I figured, Cole murmured. He said I never mattered. Cole's voice lowered. You believed it once. Do you still? She hesitated, then shook her head.
No.
That's growth, he replied. She looked toward the horizon. It still hurts. Hurt don't mean defeat, he said. Pain shows where to strengthen. Wind brushed around them. Lanterns flickered. Luke ran up, handing her a small feather. Found this, he grinned. For luck. She closed her palm over it. Thank you. Lightning flashed far off in the clouds, a promise of storm. Cole spoke quietly. Storms pass. Strong roots stay. She breathed deeply. I want roots. You're growing them, he answered. Night settled over the ranch. She entered her bunkhouse and sat on her bed. Her fingers traced the feather. The hurt from town still pulsed, but she had not crumbled. She whispered into the dark, I still matter. Outside, Cole listened from the porch, hearing her voice steady itself into truth. He nodded once, then walked into the night, knowing tomorrow would demand more strength. He swept the porch when a carriage halted outside the ranch gate. A banker stepped down in polished boots, adjusting his fine coat. Mrs. Hartwell, he asked. She stiffened. That was my name once. He handed her an envelope sealed with wax. Courier from the city. Signature required. Cole paused in the barn doorway, brow tightened. She signed with trembling strokes. Thank you. Condolences, the banker said, tipping his hat before leaving. Her palms turned slick. Cole approached slowly.
Trouble.
I don't know. She sank onto the porch steps. Read it, he murmured, leaning against the post. She broke the seal. Her eyes scanned inked lines. Estate, lineage, unexpected inheritance, legal heir. She gasped. No, this can't be real. What is it?
Cole asked.
Tears slipped quietly. They say, I inherited money.
Land.
A name I was told was dead. How much? Cole asked gently. Her voice cracked. 500 million. Cole let out a long whistle. Well now. Her knees buckled, and she sat fully, staring. I don't understand. I don't deserve this. Cole crouched beside her. Deserve ain't part of it. It's yours. She shook her head violently. No one can know. They'll come crawling like flies. Cole's gaze steadied hers. Your life isn't theirs to judge anymore. She pressed her face into her hands. I can't even hold a bucket steady. How am I supposed to hold this? You keep working, he replied. Same as yesterday. Her breathing slowed. Later, in the bunkhouse mirror, she brushed her hair smooth and tied a ribbon. Small, simple but new. Luke noticed at supper. You look different, he grinned. She flushed. Just brush my hair. Cole watched her across the table, pride masked as indifference. Over days she walked taller, shoulders back. Her steps gained purpose. Rumors trailed behind her boots like dust. At the well, she overheard whispers. She's chasing Cole. He'll tire of charity. Look at her dressing up. She kept her head high. A storekeeper narrowed his eyes. Heard you got mail from big city folk. Business, she answered, heart racing. Must be nice having someone take interest, he said with false kindness. She left quickly, the hurt deep but controlled. That evening Cole found her scrubbing tack. They're talking. They always talk, he said. Let 'em. But they think I'm using you. Cole wiped his hands. Well, are you? She blinked.
No.
He tipped his hat. Then truth stands without your defense. She exhaled shakily and nodded. The next morning she hung wash on the line. A cloud of dust rolled from town. A rider approached, her ex-husband. His grin was wide, oily. Well, well. You got mail from the city, didn't you?
Her pulse spiked.
What do you want? You. He dismounted, grabbing her arm. You're coming back with me. She recoiled.
No.
You didn't get far on your own. Let's fix that. Cole strode from the barn. Let go. This ain't your business, her ex snarled. It is on my land. Her ex dragged her closer. She winced. Stop. Cole stepped closer, voice calm. Release her. You think you own her now? Her ex hissed. No one owns her, Cole replied. Her ex scoffed. She's worthless. She flinched. Cole's jaw worked slowly. You left her. Stay gone. Her ex yanked her again. She has something now, something that belongs to me. Her heart froze. You know. Oh, the banker don't keep secrets well, he sneered. You're rich, darling, and that means you come home. No, she whispered. Yes, he barked. She raised her voice. I said no. Her ex's eyes narrowed. Who do you think you are? Cole stepped between them. She said no. Her ex lunged forward. Cole caught his wrist, twisting cleanly until fingers opened. Her ex stumbled back, rage sparking. Touch her again, Cole warned, and you'll need more than money. Her ex spat dust. So she's yours now. She's hers, Cole corrected. Her ex glared at her. You'll regret this. I already regretted you, she quietly answered.
Cole smirked faintly.
The man stormed to his horse and kicked it into a gallop. Silence fell. She shook violently. He knows. Let him know, Cole said. He can't take what ain't his. I'm scared. Cole placed a steadying hand on her shoulder. Fear don't mean weakness. She swallowed. What if everyone comes for it? Then we defend it, he replied.
But the first thing you do is stand.
She wiped her eyes. I don't feel strong. Strength ain't feeling, Cole said. It's doing. Luke ran up with wide eyes. Was that him? Yes, she breathed. Luke kicked dirt. He's mean. She managed a small smile. Not anymore. Cole spoke softly. You'll need protection, legal advice. But first, supper. She laughed unexpectedly. Supper? World don't stop turning 'cause someone wants your gold, Cole said.
Eat.
Later she sat on the porch, looking toward stars. Cole sat beside her. He came because of money, she murmured. He came because he thought you were still weak, Cole corrected. Maybe I was. But you're changing, he said. And he hates that more than the money. She leaned back, the night wide around her. What do I do now? Decide who you are, he answered. Not who they say. Wind stirred the lantern flame. She watched it dance. I want to keep working. Cole nodded. That's a good start. She folded the letter in her lap. I won't hide from it. That's better. Her eyes lifted to the sky.
Cole.
Yeah, thank you. He stood, tipping his hat. Storm's coming. You'll be ready. She stayed on the porch, clutching the feather Luke had once given. The ranch stretched before her. Dirt roads, fences, and a new life she never expected. She breathed deeply. She mattered, and now the world would have to reckon with it. Dust trailed his horse, like smoke. She froze by the water trough, bucket slipping. There you are, he shouted, sliding down. Running off with another man? She backed away. I didn't run anywhere. You think you're someone now, he sneered. Fancy letters, fancy ranch. Boot steps sounded. Cole walked from the barn, sleeves rolled, voice level. Leave. This ain't your affair, the man snapped. Cole stopped between them. It is on my land. Her ex laughed. You're protecting her? She's nothing. She flinched. Cole didn't. Last warning. Her ex jabbed a finger toward her. She's my wife. No, she whispered. Cole raised a hand gently, steadying her. She said no. You threatening me? Her ex barked. Cole's tone barely lifted. If you don't leave, I'll fetch the sheriff. The ranch hands had gathered. Ethan crossed his arms. Luke gripped a pitchfork. Quiet support held her like unseen ropes. Her ex spat. You'll regret siding with her. Cole's eyes hardened. Go. Her ex mounted, glaring at her. You'll crawl back. No, she whispered again. He turned his horse and galloped away. Dust swallowed him. Silence settled. She stared at Cole's back. You defended me. Cole shrugged. Everyone deserves safe ground. But no one ever.
He tipped his hat.
Get some water. You're shaking. She looked down. Her hands trembled hard. Luke ran up. You okay? She forced a breath. Yes. Cole met the eyes of his crew. Back to work. They scattered, nodding at her as they passed, not pitying, but acknowledging. It warmed her chest. That evening the porch lantern flickered. She sat, blanket over her knees. Cole sat nearby, whittling a scrap of cedar, curls of wood falling to the boards. She whispered, "Thank you." He didn't look up. Everyone deserves safe ground. Her throat tightened. I want to belong here. Belonging's earned by living, Cole said. You're doing that. She watched his steady hands. You didn't shout at him. No need. Loud men bleed easy. She smiled faintly. You're different. He shrugged. Maybe. Hooves approached. A polished carriage rolled up the lane. The banker stepped out, holding papers. Miss, he called. She stood. Yes. You must attend a public court hearing, he said. We finalize your estate transfer. She paled. In town. Cole rose slowly. When? 2 days. She swallowed. I don't want to go. You must, the banker insisted. It confirms identity, grants authority. Cole stepped beside her. She'll go, he said calmly. The banker nodded and left. The carriage wheels rolled away, leaving hush and dust. She stared at the road. People will see me. Judge me. They already do, Cole said. Then why go? Because you ain't hiding. Her voice shook. What if he shows up? Then he'll hear the law say you don't belong to him. She looked at Cole, searching. Will you come with me? He set the whittling knife down. Yeah. Relief loosened her shoulders. She sat again. Cole returned to carving. What are you making? She asked. A horse. For who? He paused. Don't know yet. She wrapped arms around herself. I don't understand why you help me. Don't need to, he answered. Just accept it. She studied the dying sun across the pastures. I didn't think anyone decent existed. They do, he replied. Just quiet. The moon climbed and lantern bugs flickered. She stayed until his figure softened in low light. Next morning she worked the chicken coop. Ethan leaned against the rail. Cole scared that fella off real good. I didn't expect anybody to stand for me, she murmured. Ethan scratched his jaw. Woman who stands for herself draws the right kind of men. She blinked. I didn't stand. Cole did. Maybe, Ethan grinned. But you didn't run. She pondered that. Luke tugged her sleeve. Cole wants you in the barn. She hurried there. Cole handed her a clean dress. Wear this for court. She touched the fabric. This is too fine. It fits who you're becoming. She lowered her eyes. Thank you. He nodded toward the stalls. Walk with me. They stepped through hay-scented aisles. Town will talk when you stand before a judge, he said. Hold your head high. I'm scared. Fear tells you the moment matters. She brushed a mare's nose, calming herself. What if they laugh? Let 'em, he said. You ain't here for their approval. Her heart squeezed. Cole. Why do you care? He paused, meeting her gaze. Because you kept standing even when no one saw the bruises. She swallowed hard. I don't feel strong. That's why strength shows, he said. When the weak keep moving. She breathed deep. I'll go. Good. 2 days later, the carriage came again. She stepped out in the dress Cole had given her. The ranch hands lined the fence. Luke waved. Come back, he called shyly. She smiled. I will. Cole climbed in beside her. You ready? No, she whispered. But I'll go anyway. That's enough. Town streets were full when the carriage stopped. Voices murmured. Some mocked. Others blinked in shock. She stepped down slowly. Her ex-husband lurked across the road, eyes dark. You made a mistake, he muttered. Cole positioned himself at her side. No, she didn't. She walked toward the courthouse, each step heavy but steady. People parted, whispering. Look at her. Think she's somebody now. Her knees wavered. Cole placed a hand at her back. Breathe. She lifted her chin. I still breathe, she murmured. So I still matter. Cole smiled slightly. Now you're talking. Judge doors opened. She stepped inside. For the first time, she chose her place and let the whole town see it. Rafters. She clutched the shawl Cole had draped over her shoulders, its wool scratchy but comforting. Her boots tapped the wooden floor as she stepped inside, heart pounding like a drum in the quiet room. Chairs creaked as townsfolk murmured, shifting to look at the woman they had once ridiculed. Her ex-husband sat near the front, smirk curling his lips. He leaned forward, whispering to the man beside him. She thinks she's somebody now. The banker adjusted his coat at the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, voice formal, we are gathered to confirm the inheritance of Miss Hartwell. By legal decree, she is the rightful heir to the estate of her late family, assets totaling nearly $500 million. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Some mouths fell open. Others leaned back in disbelief. Her ex's smirk faltered, eyes narrowing. She gripped the shawl tighter. The edges dug into her palms, but she did not look away. The banker continued, producing stamped documents. Here is proof. Signed and sealed by the city court. Ownership and title are hers alone. Gasps erupted. Women who once mocked her bowed their heads. Men who had jeered muttered under their breaths. A few shuffled in discomfort. Even the mayor, seated at the back, straightened his spine. Her ex-husband sprang to his feet. You can't do this. Return to me. His voice cracked across the hall. Cole stepped forward, slow and steady. He placed his hat on the floor between them, boots brushing dust. She owes you nothing. The room went silent. Every eye turned toward him. His voice was calm but carried weight. The sheriff's chair creaked as he leaned forward. Even the banker stopped mid-motion, pen poised over papers. She blinked, disbelief and relief washing through her. No one had ever defended her with such certainty. She felt grounded, shoulders loosening, chest rising freely for the first time in months. Her ex scowled, stepping closer. This isn't over. Cole didn't flinch. He squared his shoulders, hands loose at his sides. It is over. She chooses her path. Townsfolk shifted in their seats. Ethan leaned forward, lips pressed tight, while Luke's small hand gripped the edge of his chair. Respect and astonishment mingled in the air. She swallowed hard, voice trembling. I don't belong to anyone but myself. Her ex's face twisted with fury, but the words struck him down more effectively than any slap could. He hesitated, eyes darting around the room. Every familiar mocking face now looked at him differently, the smug superiority gone, replaced with cautious acknowledgement. Enough, Cole said firmly. Step back. Her ex's fists trembled, jaw tight. He pivoted and stormed toward the door. The room held its breath until the latch clicked. Then murmurs returned, soft and reverent, as people glanced at her with a mix of awe and shame. The banker lowered his papers. Congratulations, Miss Hartwell, he said quietly. The estate is yours to manage. Thank you, she whispered, feeling a weight lift from her chest. She touched the shawl, realizing it had been a shield, and now felt like a cloak of courage. Cole stepped to her side. Shall we leave? She nodded. Her legs felt lighter, even though the hall still trembled with the echoes of judgment. They walked together down the aisle. Boots clicked on the wooden floor. Whispers followed, but she ignored them. Heads turned. Some avoided her gaze, some lingered in silent admiration. Her shawl brushed over polished shoes and scuffed boots alike, carrying her forward. Outside, sunlight warmed her face. Dust swirled in lazy currents across the steps. She drew in a deep breath, tasting freedom. Cole's hand hovered near hers, but didn't touch. He tilted his head toward the horizon. You earned this. Every step. I did. Her voice was soft. You stood when others tried to push you down, he said. You didn't collapse. She glanced at him, eyes wide. I didn't think I could. You did, he confirmed, and no one can take it from you. Luke ran up, eyes shining. Miss Hartwell, that was amazing. She chuckled lightly, brushing dust from her dress. Thank you, Luke. Ethan stepped closer, tipping his hat. You showed everyone what courage looks like. The town square stretched before them, silent and still. People paused in doorways, some whispering, others staring in disbelief. The wind stirred dust into golden streams across the wooden planks of the street. She lifted her head, feeling sunlight on her face, warmth in her chest. The shawl slipped from her shoulders slightly, fluttering like a banner. Cole matched her pace. Justice isn't loud, he said softly, voice barely above the wind. It's steady. Earned. You've earned it. She drew in another breath, tasting clarity, strength, and triumph. Her ex-husband's threats were meaningless now. Town gossip could not pierce the shield she had built. The sheriff and a few older townsfolk watched from a distance, nodding subtly. Even those who had mocked her now stood in quiet acknowledgement of the change. She stepped off the final board of the hall, boots on sun-warmed earth. Dust rose and danced around her ankles. Cole remained beside her, shadow steady against the fading light. I feel free, she whispered. Cole tipped his hat slightly, smile faint but sure. That's because you finally know your worth. She adjusted her shawl and walked taller. Each step carried years of humiliation, pain, and endurance, now transformed into quiet power. The town square remained still, mouths slightly agape, hearts catching the moment too late. The weight of her past lifted with each step. She glanced at Cole, then straight ahead. Let's go, she said. Together, they moved down the dusty street, leaving behind every cruel whisper, every scornful glance. The town had watched, the judgment had fallen, and the woman they had mocked walked free. Cole's boots struck the planks in rhythm with hers. Lanterns flickered along storefronts. Horses nickered in distant corrals. The wind carried dust, and with it, the echoes of justice, steady and earned. Her shawl danced around her shoulders in the breeze. She breathed in the scent of pine and sunlight. For the first time, she knew the weight of her past could no longer touch her. And the town watched, stunned, as she walked into the horizon beside the cowboy who had quietly, firmly, ensured she would stand. Beneath the open sky, hands resting on the wooden fence, shawl brushing against her forearms. Townsfolk hurried past, heads lowered, eyes refusing to meet hers. The whispers that once mocked her had faded into silence, replaced by reluctant respect. Cole guided her horse up the street, reins in one hand, his posture calm and steady. He offered no words, only the quiet certainty of presence. She slid onto the saddle, heart steadying, shoulders lifting. The air smelled of hay and dust, warm and familiar. Morning, Luke called, darting out from the schoolhouse yard. Morning, Luke, she replied, voice soft, steady. You came, he said, running to hug her around the waist. She felt the small weight of his trust and hope, and it filled her chest with warmth. I did, she whispered, patting his shoulder. And I'll be here every day. Cole adjusted the horse's reins. School's looking good, he remarked quietly. They're lucky to have you. She looked toward the building, children waving from the porch. She smiled, knowing that she had used her inheritance not for extravagance, but to give others opportunities she had once been denied. Jobs were offered to widows, orphan boys, and those overlooked by the town. Her fortune became a shield and a tool, a way to turn cruelty into kindness. I never imagined, she started, voice catching. Cole glanced at her. What? That someone could matter, and matter for more than surviving. He tipped his hat, a small smile beneath the brim. You matter because you never stopped. Even when the town tried to bury you, you kept standing. The wind stirred the dust, and for a moment, she closed her eyes. She felt the weight of years of humiliation lift with each breath. Exile had become home. Shame had become dignity. She no longer desired revenge. Her presence, steady and calm, was the victory. A horse neighed in the corral. Ethan leaned on the fence, smiling. Miss Hartwell, the kids are learning faster than ever. Your school, it's something else. She chuckled softly. Thank you, Ethan. That means more than you know. Luke tugged at her sleeve again. Can you read to us today? She knelt beside him, brushing hair from his forehead. Of course, she said. The children gathered around, eyes wide, their attention more alive than she had ever seen. Pages turned, voices rose in question and wonder, and the shame of the past seemed a distant memory. Cole watched from the fence, jaw relaxed, hands resting on the rail. His quiet pride was visible even without words. He had stood silently through storms, and now she flourished with dignity, every action deliberate, every step forward earned. Miss Hartwell, Ethan said softly, the town's changing because of you. People they notice. She shook her head slightly, expression gentle. I don't want their notice. I want their understanding. Cole's gaze lingered on her, unflinching. Understanding grows slower than money, but you've earned both, in different ways. She smiled faintly. Her shawl shifted in the breeze, light against her shoulders, a banner of survival and quiet triumph. Luke jumped beside her, tugging at the edges. You're like a hero, he said earnestly. I'm just someone who kept moving forward, she said, voice calm. But if it teaches you anything, maybe that's enough. The afternoon sun fell lower. Shadows stretched across fences and rooftops. She walked through the schoolyard, greeting children, straightening a crooked fence post, picking up a fallen book. Each small action felt deliberate in contrast to the chaos of her past. Cole followed, hands tucked in his pockets, lanterns in the barn already lit for evening chores. The rhythm of ranch life, the steady routine, grounded her. Her inheritance had been a key, but it was kindness, work, and steady action that unlocked real belonging. Cole, she whispered later, on the porch of the ranch as lantern light glowed against the boards, thank you for everything. He tipped his hat, faint smile beneath the brim. You found your way. I just made sure you didn't stumble when you needed the ground steady. She leaned back, watching the lanterns flicker, warm against the dusk. I never knew I could feel safe. Or proud.
You earned it, he said.
And now no one can take it from you. The wind stirred the prairie grass, whispering past the porch. She adjusted her shawl, feeling the fabric heavy with memory yet light with freedom. Luke ran to her again, holding a basket of books. Miss Hartwell, we're ready for the next lesson. She laughed, low and clear, brushing dust from her skirts. Then let's begin. Ethan called from the fence. Dinner will be ready soon, Miss Hartwell. You'll need strength for tomorrow. She nodded, eyes soft as she looked at Cole. I think I've found home. Cole's hand hovered near hers briefly, not touching, steady and reassuring. You have.
And it's not just this ranch.
It's your choice, every day, to keep building it. The sun dipped behind the hills. Lanterns cast long golden beams across the porch. Horses nickered, settling into stalls. Dust drifted lazily across the street, and she breathed in the warm evening air. She turned to Cole. Do you think I can keep this going? All the kindness, the school, the work. Cole's eyes met hers, unwavering. You've already begun. That's all it takes. Step by step. She nodded, smiling softly. Her chest felt open, her head held high. The humiliation of the past could not touch her now. Cruelty had been transformed into opportunity. Exile had become sanctuary.
Cole tipped his hat again.
You found it, he said, voice low. Your dignity. She looked out across the prairie. The ranch stretching before her, horses grazing, children laughing, lantern light glowing warmly. She drew a deep breath. Yes, she whispered. I found it at last. And for the first time, she didn't need anyone to acknowledge her worth. It shone steadily, quietly, within her, unshaken by the wind or dust or whispers of the past. Lantern light glowed across the boards of the porch. The prairies stretched endlessly beyond. She leaned back, shawl snug, heart calm, and felt, finally, at home.